Books are a primary means of passing knowledge across a generation, allowing readers to access perspectives and ideas that help shape the understanding of what the world really is. A little fun fact, study shows that readers live 23 months longer than non-readers, so if you want to live long, you better pick up a book today. In this video, I'm going to rank the books from my least favourite to the most favourite. But yeah, let's get into it. Book number 1. You can't have a book guide for Forex without having this book. This book is the foundation of all Forex traders. It's the best book for beginners, in my opinion, because it goes through the basics of patterns, psychology, tips and tricks from previous traders, and just a lot more. So for all beginners, I would recommend this book because it just takes you through everything you need to know. Naked Forex goes over price action trading, and it also skims across the surface of trading psychology, which to me is one of the most important aspects of trading in itself. This book is a very good read, however, I do find it kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There was a couple of chapters I slept through. Maybe it's because I'm a bit more experienced, or I was a bit more experienced when I started reading it. But the book is kind of boring. It's a lot to read. In terms of a beginner book, I would recommend it still. However, just know that you're going to find some chapters boring, which is all part of the process. Book number 2 is Market Wizards. This book is less technical and more so like psychology. It's basically just an interview with the top 17 traders in the industry across crypto, stocks, and Forex. Some of them even trade corn. But it just basically feels like you're the third person in the room watching this interview take place. So you learn a lot of insightful tips and tricks that they use to help, first of all, avoid negative months and then fuel their profitable months and scale to such large figures to be known as well-known names in the industry. However, just like Naked Forex, this book is kind of boring. But I feel like it really depends on interview to interview, because interviews with more upbeat and cheerful traders were a lot more engaging than interviews with traders who have like dimmer or boring personalities. So I found that most of the chapters were entertaining and engaging, but there was some that were a bit boring. So you are going to sleep a bit through this book as well. Honestly, if you're getting to a point where you're having high resistance whilst reading a couple of chapters, just skip them. I would say skim read it, not skip actually, because skim reading will allow you to like spot any useful information that could help you, because you never know what line or what sentence is going to change your trading career. Book number 3, and when we start getting into the juicy part of Forex, and that is Trading in the Zone. You can't really have a Forex book guide and not have Trading in the Zone. It's one of the books that really live up to the hype. This book is by Mark Douglas, and it really delves into the psychology of trading. So this is yet another psychological book, but for me, I believe psychology books are more important than technical books because there are loads of technicals out there. However, no matter how you trade, your psychology has to be similar to successful traders. And Mark Douglas really breaks down what it takes to be a successful trader mentally, not so pattern-wise. To me, trading is more so 30% chart work, pattern recognition and all of that, and 70% like psychology. Because I feel like in a month, 2 months, you can really learn the technical side of trading. However, the psychology part is where you see most traders tend to struggle. That's why it takes on average a year to be profitable, because you have to know yourself to really perform well in these markets. And this book does help you do that. It does this by helping understand why we do what we do. Mark Douglas really breaks down the sections of the brain and what they do and how that affects our trading. So by reading this and gaining a better understanding of how your mind works, it does help with your trading, because you understand that you're not unique in this case. It's just human nature to do certain silly stuff, or I'll say bad habits, such as overtrading, revenge trading, being greedy, being fearful. All of these stuff are just completely normal as a human being. And Mark Douglas really dissects all of that. In terms of risk management and strategy and all of this book does kind of graze over it, but I'll say that it's more so for the psychology of trading. So if you're a trader looking to improve your psychology, this is the book for you. And in terms of a read, this book is very good as a read, but you can get lost in the numbers. There's a lot, and when I say a lot, guys, I mean a lot of numbers, facts, statistics thrown straight into your face. So that can get overwhelming at some point. So in terms of whether or not it's a good read, I would 100% recommend this. If you've never read a book on trading, especially trading psychology, this should be the book you read. But you just need to understand that it can get a bit confusing and it may take a couple of rereads just to understand what's really going on in the book. Book number 4 would be The Forex Mindset. And this is one of my favorite books because what it does is it gives you all the information that all the previous books I've mentioned give you, but it does it with a twist. It gives you a storyline. And that's what's very uncommon in trading books, because trading itself is a very, very boring industry. It's repetitive, it's just numbers kind of. So like it lacks a bit of excitement. What Jared did in this book was very, very good because he made it into a flowing story. And what that did is that kept my attention. This book was a very easy read from cover to cover. And to top it all off, it was very funny. Like, this man could basically be a comedian. And what I love about this book is that it passes across the message in a funny way, but it does in a way where you don't miss the overall message. It also dives into psychology. It dives into risk management. It dives into loads of different categories or subcategories of trading, which are very important. So although it is a funny and more unserious book, it does cover all of the essentials that are needed to become a profitable trader in Forex. But Jared, the creator of Forex Mindset, also does cover his personal experiences with each of the psychological barriers of trading, and he shows you how he breaks it down and overcomes them, which is very, very important because a lot of these books don't really do that. But overall, I would rate this book a 4 out of 5, honestly, because it's a very easy read and it's a fun read. There's no resistance it doesn't feel like a struggle to pick up this book and read it. Honestly, to tell you guys the truth, I've read this book 5 times. And every single time I found it more funny than the previous time. If you want to really, really get into reading and get the most out of these books, I would recommend you take notes. Because just reading in itself is good because you're doing better than someone who just doesn't pick up a book at all. You do kind of want to take notes because when you're reading without note taking, the retention is low. Like, even if you understood it there and then, you're going to forget. And what note making does is that it helps you remember because first of all, you physically wrote it down or typed it up. And second of all, you're actively looking back at the information that you just read. So that really, really helps with your understanding of the information. And last but not least, Atomic Habits. Now, I know, this book is not a trading book. However, this is one of the most important books you can read, no matter what you're doing. Whether it's trading, learning how to start up a business, no matter what you need to do, you need to read Atomic Habits. If you were to ignore all the other books in this video, I would recommend you at least check out Atomic Habits. Now, what is a habit, you ask? A habit is just a regular tendency or practice that you do carry out on a daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis even. As traders, most of trading is a build-up of habits stacked together. And I believe habits make up around 45% of daily actions. So by reading Atomic Habits, it shows you how to accumulate your habits, stack your habits well together to have a successful trading day, or successful trading week, or successful trading month. Some examples of habits that are really important in trading are discipline, risk management, preventing overtrading, revenge trading. These are all habits that impact your trading directly. So by understanding what a habit is and what makes up a habit, how to break down a bad habit and build up a good one, Atomic Habit is also a really good book because it has loads of tips and tricks to not only show you how to build and break down habits, but how to maintain them. And that's a lot of people's problem, because how many times have you really started a habit, something like reading for example, and you just you're into it for 2, 3, 4 days and you just give up? And what Atomic Habit does is it gives you tips and strategies to show you how to be consistent with your habits, which could be waking up every morning for London session. It could be not revenge trading, stepping away from your computer after a loss. Yeah, like I said, Atomic Habit is a must read. Even for people who aren't traders, you really, really need to pick up this book. This is probably one of the best books I've ever read in my life. The funny thing is that this is actually the book that made me start reading. And right now, I think I've read around 30 to 40 books this year. So yeah, it does work. I was one of those people who in school, I always used to sleep when it was time to read. When we were reading Macbeth, we were reading different stories, I would always sleep because I found it boring. But Atomic Habit really, really changed my perspective on reading itself. So yeah, I would recommend you guys pick up this book. An honorable mention I have is The 5 AM Club by Robert Sharma. It basically covers what Atomic Habit does as well, and it does give you a storyline which Atomic Habit doesn't offer. It takes you through the process of an old guru and how he basically came to discover all the techniques that help you have a more productive day. But the thing that the 5 AM Club does that Atomic Habit doesn't really cover is it shows you how to start your day. And I think the phrase from the book is own your morning, elevate your life. It really just talks about when you have a successful morning, you have a successful day. And when you have a successful day, you have a successful week. That's a tongue twister, but yeah, you guys try saying that 3 times. But yeah, this book, honestly, if you can't pick up Atomic Habit, or you're someone who likes more sort of a story when you're reading a book, pick up the 5 AM Book Club. Atomic Habits, in my opinion, is better, but for some people, I know they like the 5 AM Club. more. So yeah, that's really it, guys. If you have any book recommendations, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. And if this video helped you or gets you into reading, feel free to come back to the video and comment what book you picked up first. But yeah, that's really it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.